Hey, it's Tom here at Tutorial Works, back with another quick tip for you. You know that in Spring Boot that properties are the way that we deal with things that can change, like database passwords or other app settings that you might need or custom ones that you might provide. But did you know that you can change the properties of a Spring Boot application at runtime without messing around with all of these properties files and different profiles and things like that? And this trick I'm going to show you is especially useful when you're running it in a cloud environment like Kubernetes, when you don't want to have to fiddle around with all these config files. So let's have a look. Environment variables, by the way, are depicted by this globe, which I thought looks a bit like the environment. So firstly, you need to define your property in an application.properties file as usual. So in my really serious app here, I'm going to display my favorite cheese, and I'm going to say it's Camembert. I've written some code so that it displays that favorite cheese, so it uses the value annotation to fetch favorite cheese from application properties, puts it in a string, and then it will display it as the response from my REST service so that when I run the app it looks like this and shows it. That's fairly simple. But what if you want to display a different cheese when the app is running in Kubernetes? Or maybe, a more practical example would be that you want to change a database password because you're running your app in production. Then you can simply override the property with another one. Now with Spring Boot there are loads of different ways you can do overrides for properties, but the one I'm looking at today is environment variables. So when you're running your app in Kubernetes, then you might be running with a deployment, which is the thing that creates your pods. And one of the things you can do on a deployment is set some custom environment variables on your pods. And then when Kubernetes sees those environment variables, it will pick those up and override your current properties with that value. So for an override to work, you need to set an environment variable. So if I have my environment variable here called favorite.cheese, then your environment variable needs to be named the same name as your property, but with uppercase characters, so it becomes favorite_cheese like that instead of in lowercase. Now when I set the environment variable on the deployment, and here's my deployment, I just add this env block here at the bottom. So I type a name for the environment variable and I give it a value. So I can give an explicit value here if I want to. Or if I'm using a config map, which you should probably think about doing if you want to store some application config, so you don't have to hard code things everywhere. So once you've created a config map with the key and the value you want in it, then you can use the value from instead of an explicit value, and you do config map keyref, and that tells Kubernetes to look in your config map for a specific key and it will fetch that value out of that. So that's another trick. And if you don't want to type any of this YAML at all, then the kubectl set env command will do all of it for you and update the deployment, so then you can extract that YAML so you don't need to memorize the syntax. And once you've done that, voila, wait, hang on. It was meant to say brie. Somehow it now says cheese in a can. My favorite cheese is not cheese in a can, so obviously I've done something wrong here. But anyway, this is the end of this video, and probably just time for me to say thank you very much for watching. Hope this was useful for you, and hope to see you in the next one. Take care.